Labour is gearing up for a big battle at the Gorton and Denton by-election at the end of February. I've been in Manchester today, where I've attended a by-election hustings hosted by the Manchester Evening News, where the candidates for the Gorton and Denton by-election have been battling it out. Now, I'm not going to lie, there were some serious moments of tension. The only time when it got very tense was when this sort of explosive row erupted over the issue of immigration.
I spoke to a father in Longsight recently, running a store, a Muslim guy who was saying his kids couldn't get on the housing ladder. And then I discovered that in Denton, we have at least 20 HMOs, homes for multiple occupants, that have gone to people who have entered our country illegally. How is it right and how is it fair that British families, British young people, British military veterans are not able to get on the housing ladder, but we are making homes available to people who are breaking our laws and also charging British people £15 billion over the next few years for the privilege? How is it right that companies like Serco, backed by the Labour government in these areas, is using your money? They're using your money to outbid you in your own housing market. That's not right. That's not fair. Keir Starmer talks about fairness. We want to control immigration, fix the borders, and put the hard-working majority first.
Jackie.
Well, as a Liberal Democrat, I am absolutely appalled by what ICE is doing in America. It's horrific. People have been shot on sight. They've been locked up without any of their rights. People with valid visas and green cards are being held in what amount to concentration camps. It's an absolute abomination. And frankly, scrapping our human rights here is not going to help that in any way. And we need to absolutely be clear that what they are doing is wrong, completely wrong. No equivocation about it. Now, maybe we've talked about, somebody mentioned foreign aid earlier. Well, how about using that foreign aid to make life better in the countries people are fleeing from in such desperation that they're willing to risk their lives in the Channel? Let's actually try looking at the source and helping people where they are so that they can live decent lives without having to run through such awful risks.
Thank you. Hannah.
Thank you. Thank you for the question. I think it's really terrifying what we're about to see over here. I think certain politicians are just cozying up to Trump, thinking that we can do what they're doing. And I'm really worried for my friends and neighbours who are immigrants themselves or the children of immigrants who I know have kept our city region moving for decades and decades and decades. And it's what you look like, isn't it? It's whether or not you fit into this box of what an immigrant is, whether you're born here or not. I think you're British. And I'll say I agree that our immigration system is absolutely broken. £6 million a day I think we spend on hotels. Serco absolutely signed up under the Conservative government. But let's not forget that the people who were responsible for breaking our immigration system are now in reform.
Can I add a response to that? I think, the people who have joined reform have joined because they reject the Tory governments and how they managed immigration disastrously. The Greens are advocating open borders. Can you imagine what that would do to Gorton and Denton?
Okay, Angeliki.
And when it got to Angeliki, the Labour candidate, she turned to Matthew Goodwin and basically said to him, I don't know how you have been going around this campaign with security guards when actually I was speaking to women this morning who said that they are fearing leaving the house because of the sort of rhetoric that Reform UK have been peddling.
Thank you. I just want to bring this back to Gorton and Denton. Matthew, how can you be sat here with a couple of security guys following you around when this afternoon, just this morning, I was with a group of interfaith women representing our community who told me that our women in this constituency, they're scared to leave their house because of the rhetoric that you have been peddling. You know, you say that people like me that have lived here for over 30 years, this country is not ours and it belongs to us. This is not the Manchester.
Sorry, I need to have a response
Can
to
we
that.
have we done time?
We need controlled, managed migration that supports our economy, combined with serious investments in our public services. Division is very easy, delivery is harder, and I am here to do the hard work.
Okay, I will allow Matt to reply to that.
I'm not going to be lectured to by a Labour politician from a party that consistently failed to investigate the mass rape and sexual abuse of working class kids in this country for 30 years. The reason women and girls are being sexually assaulted, largely, is because your government's running a policy of open borders, which is putting women and girls at risk. And the reason I have security is because I have very real threats to my life in an area where people assure me everything is fine. And clearly, in some parts of this country, integration is not working as it should be. We need a responsible conversation about how this country is not working.
Just come back on that and then we'll just carry on. Okay, Angeliki.
Demonising immigrants is not going to resolve the problems that we're facing, and I'm very happy to have a discussion about the thing that you just raised, but it should not be an isolated discussion targeting a specific ethnic group.
Now, these are women at an interfaith meeting that she went to this morning as part of her campaign work, and she was pretty furious. She said division is easy, but actually sorting out issues of controlled migration were difficult. In that moment, you saw this element of tension between the two parties that is in a local level, but definitely represents the sort of fight that Keir Starmer has often spoken about having with Reform and with Nigel Farage, this sort of toxic politics and the politics of grievance and division. Of course, there were some nice moments during the hustings as well. Angeliki sort of made a joke as she came in and said, "Oh, hi Matt, welcome to Manchester," kind of making a joke that he's obviously not in Manchester enough. There was also a bit of a joke at the end when the candidates were talking about what their favourite Oasis song was, and Matt Goodwin turned to Angeliki and said,
Goodness me, Angeliki, we have something in common. Supersonic was also one of my favourites. So look at the hustings bringing everybody together. Maybe at the end of the campaign, cigarettes and alcohol. Who knows?
Thanks very much.
You see these lighter moments, which is a moment of relief in what is set up to be quite a vicious, passionate race on the ground at Gorton and Denton.
So let's be honest here. Someone will tell you that Britain is broken and only anger can fix it. Others will tell you in this table that they're surging here and they will wave. Well, they haven't waved around charts, but they have posted misleading charts through people's doorsteps. They can't win here, and this election is a choice.
Yeah, we're not a poor country. We're not a poor city. No matter what anybody tells you, there is money here. There's absolutely no reason on earth that we should have a city region where people are sleeping in doorways, where veterans who come back from giving their lives to serve for our country are not treated with the respect that they deserve, and where people can't access the mental health services that they need. We're not a poor country. We're just not fixing the things, and we're not prioritising people. Instead, we've got decades of political parties who are answerable to the people who donate money to them. I will be different. I will work for you. And I will also say my plan is firm. I plan to open the doors of Parliament so that working people like us who keep the country going can have a say at the table and make an impact on the decisions that are being made so that we don't keep getting trampled on by the elite and the establishment.